Afternoon, good evening. Wherever you are in the world, welcome to Radio Works, and this is your forever young host, Kim. Now, last week I did a kind of mini facial with you, and I promised you that this week I would talk about makeup and, in particular, mineral makeup. So, what I've decided to do is talk about the foundations on which we lay our makeup because obviously we can just put some makeup on straight onto our skin, but actually the makeup will stay better and have a better finish if we have a good foundation on in the first place. And these days, when I very first qualified to do makeup, primers didn't exist. But these days, primers are quite a good thing to put on your skin before you start applying any kind of makeup. And these are usually a colourless kind of makeup, usually quite a smooth texture that cover the skin quite quickly and easily just with our fingertips. But you don't have to use one of these. I actually quite like primers, they're very light products. And they glide onto the skin quite nicely, and they do help hold the makeup for longer if you use one. But as I say, when I qualified, they didn't really exist, so I don't use one all of the time. When I qualified, however, the kinds of foundations that were available to you were mostly the kind of liquid foundations, which I've never got on with on my own skin particularly. I find that they give a very heavy coverage and that they tend to um, look a bit flaggy and fall in the cracks, as it were. So they were available. There were also ones that you could buy which were little kind of solid, uh, or not completely solid, but more kind of cream versions that you also put on. The liquid ones you could put on with your fingers, but you could also put on with a sponge. These other ones you can put on with your fingers or your sponge the same way. And also you could get tinted moisturisers, and back then tinted moisturisers were my preference. I had younger skin at the time, and it didn't require so very much coverage as it might do these days. But also, I was beyond the point where I had spots when I was very young, and I had a lot of spots, teenage pimples and things. Really like those kind of products much either. I didn't find that they covered up my spots very much, and I did find that they didn't improve the actual spots themselves. They tended to be worse. Um, Now, a lot of people talking about spots will also have used concealers over the years and may also continue to use concealers on areas such as the dark circles around your eyes and maybe imperfections on your skin. So some of you might be familiar with these kind of different coloured concealers that you can get, and all of the different colours are useful for different things. I don't actually know what this looks like to you, because to me it all looks a kind of even kind of beige colour, but it shouldn't do. Some of it should look green, some of it's a purpley colour, some of it's a peachy colour, and then there are two sort of beigier ones. The green is supposed to be used for covering red, if you have redness on your skin. Sorry, I'm going to move that out of the way of my face. And I have quite a lot of redness in my face. So the green technically should cover that redness, which I tend to have on my cheeks. So I'm just going to put a little bit of the green on and show you that once it's on your skin, it shouldn't look particularly green. I'm not wild about these kind of coloured things. They are supposed to help balance out imperfections. So the peachy one's supposed to be good around your eyes where you've got the sort of dark circles. You can kind of blot out your dark circles a little bit with peachy kind of colours, and um, it, also kind of the blue lines, things like that that you can get. But to be honest with you, I always find the best concealers are just the sort of beigey coloured ones, and um, I, I find that they give a perfectly good coverage. Now, some people put them on before any of their foundations, which is the way I was certainly told to do it when I very first qualified. But actually, later on, people said, actually, if you put on your first layer of foundation, it could cover a lot of the imperfections that you're spending time covering up with the concealer. So actually, put on a bit of foundation, then a bit of concealer on top of anything that still shows, and then recover that with your foundation. And actually, that seems to work a lot better for me. The other thing that if you're using sort of concealers, foundations, and things like that, you might have seen recently that a lot of people are doing is facial contouring, and this is that the Kardashians have made very famous or very popular. It's basically a method of making your face conform to a more kind of standard shape, which is considered to be beautiful. And personally, I don't think everybody should look identical. So, you know, if you feel that your face is a bit too long or a bit too square, something like that, then you can use these techniques. Actually, they were devised by photographic makeup artists to help people look better on camera, and were never intended for people to wear on a day-to-day basis. It's quite a heavy kind of coverage, really. But I'll show you roughly where those bits of makeup go. I haven't got any of the darker shades because I just don't use the darker shades. But I can show you roughly where the lighter shades go, with a bit of the lighter one here. So you'd have a lighter bit in the middle here, and then coming down the centre of the nose here, and then on your cheekbones, the top of your cheekbones here and here. And then you'd use the darker one, and I'm just going to put a bit of the concealer on to show you where the darker ones would go. They'd go kind of underneath your cheekbones here, and also if you want to, if you've got quite a square face, which I don't particularly at the top, but I do at the bottom. If you've got it at the top, you can take the corners off here, and what I do have is this quite a square jawline, so you can take it off here with the darker one. This isn't a darker one, but it kind of shows you roughly where they're supposed to be. So yeah, so you can cover up all kinds of manner of imperfections on your skin with the concealer. You can reshape your face using different contouring colours, so the darker and the lighter colours. And then what a lot of people might be traditionally using, and this is more of a normal sort of foundation, would be a regular coloured foundation over the top of all of this. And the stuff you've done underneath will kind of reflect through a little without showing a lot. Without showing through, you shouldn't have a picture of that kind of white and brown lines coming through your foundation. They should blend in. They should just be there in the background. So this is a more traditional style of foundation. This is a cream one, a little solid cream one that I have been known to use occasionally. But I now use it with a sponge, as you can see. And this gives a sort of medium kind of coverage. You can get ones that do a much heavier coverage, but on my skin, as I say, they don't particularly suit me because I've got quite kind of a lot of lines in my skin, kind of fine lines and hair and things, and I find that these show up everything that you've got on your skin because they just sit there in the hair and then the lines and things like that. So yeah, they're not my preference. But and if you were going to do those, you'd usually cover those with a kind of classic powder. So you kind of classic powder look over the top, which gives quite a nice sort of matte finish, and also helps to keep the makeup in place. If you're ever using any creamy makeup and you want to keep it in place, a quick dusting of powder over the top will help to set that makeup. And if you don't want the heavy look that you get by putting this directly on the skin, goodness, my tissue has vanished. I had one here ready to use, but I think it must have fallen down. If you want to set your makeup without having a heavy look of powder on your skin, what you can do is you can get a tissue, you can divide the tissue out so you've just got one single layer, and you can lay that on your skin, and then you can brush the powder through the tissue to give it a very, very light, quick coverage, and it won't add any colour, but it will just set any of those kind of cream makeups. That's a tip that you might find handy because it keeps your makeup on for longer. The other thing, though, that is available these days, which is my preference, is not to use any of this old junk, but to use a mineral makeup. Now, this is the mineral makeup I'm currently using. It's a solid one, but you can also get ones that are in pots of powder that you shake into the lid, and then they come out through a sprinkling, a kind of set of sprinkling holes, much the same as you would get in a sugar shaker or something like that, and you just apply that with a brush, or you can get a kind of pump action one, which has got some oil in, and then it has many small beads of different colours of pigmentation. Now, the mineral pigments, and these mineral pigments are what give the coverage. And because they're minerals, if you buy the high quality ones, they actually don't have kind of sell by dates, as it were, like most of your makeup. Most of your makeup will have use by times, and the biggest one of those use by times in my book is always your mascara, because you're dipping the brush into a moist product, applying it to your eye, and then pushing it back into the tube. So you're taking any bacteria that you've got in and around your eyes into that tube, and so they can be breeding in there. So absolutely, 6 months when you've used your mascara for 6 months, you should throw that one away and get yourself a new one. Most other makeup isn't going to be quite as sensitive as that, but because you're putting your mascara directly on your lashes, right next to your eye, not only are you picking up bacteria that you're putting in there, but any bacteria that are in there are going to be going back into your eyes, into your eyelashes. So you could be putting bacteria directly next to your eye where it can go in and cause an infection. So absolutely, mascara you should update regularly. But this particular mineral makeup that I've got doesn't have anything in which bacteria breed. So actually, these don't have a sell-by date. This particular very high-quality brand doesn't have a sell-by date. And if you ask, and people say to you, you know, that this the brand that you're looking at doesn't breed bacteria, then you know that it's got a very high level of minerals in, because some mineral makeups, um, although they have minerals in and are actually mineral makeup, also contain other things like lanolin or stuff like that, which are not so good for your skin. But anyway, so I've raved about mineral makeup, so I'm going to show you what it looks like on your skin. So you put the mineral makeup on, and some you just brush downwards, which technically this one is supposed to just brush downwards to get your good coverage. There are other ones, and you can use this kind of brush with these different kind of ends. This is called a whisking brush, and if you're using the pump action ones, you should use them, and then you put this on in this motion. And if you're using mineral makeup, I always find that actually you don't particularly need a separate concealer, because I'll show you, and I'm just going to show you in this little crack in, area around my nose where you get quite a lot of colour and pigment, and you can see, I hope anyway, because I'm not using a mirror because I'm looking at you, so I'm hoping that you can see that you can build a little layer there of the mineral makeup. Do it under my eye as well. And then just another quick brush over the top. And hopefully you'll see that actually gives quite a good coverage, quite as good as the other concealers anyway. And that way I find that you need to use a lot less concealer than you do with the traditional way of doing makeup. So this is my tip. If next time you need a foundation or something, a powder, something like that, then go see if you can find yourself a lovely mineral makeup. This particular brand is only available from therapists, and you have to find therapists that that actually stock it, and it's not so easy to get. There are others available on the high street and online, so you can get hold of these things. I would certainly recommend going and seeing a therapist if you're going to try one out, or going and buying it from somewhere where they can show you what to do with it, because different ones use in slightly different ways, so it's well worth checking that out. And also just to check the colour, because some of them come in just basically light, medium and dark depending on your skin tone, but that particular brand has many different colours in different ranges, and you'll be able to colour match the same as you do with a regular foundation. So it's always important to colour match your foundation. And actually this one's probably a bit dark for me at the moment, because it's one I bought in the summer when I was a little bit more tanned than I am now, so it's probably not a good colour on me at the moment, and I really need to invest in a slightly paler one for the winter. So they're my top tips for you in terms of the foundations of your makeup. So if you're going to use a primer, use one beforehand. Make sure that you, before you even started doing that, make sure that you've cleansed, toned, moisturised, and hopefully your moisturiser will either contain some SPF, some protection factor, or you've applied some separately. And then on top of that goes your primer if you're using one. If you're using a tinted moisturiser, you can use that instead. And if not, then whichever of the selection I've shown you, concealers, whatever. Personally, I'm a quick whisk over with my mineral makeup and then straight in with the other colours and things. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to finish up for the day, but I'm going to invite you to come and visit next Friday, when I'm hopefully going to be showing you how to use different eye makeup techniques to create good a kind of wideness of your eye, depending on the shape it is, to make your eyes stand out using techniques, different patterns of where you apply the makeup according to your eye shape, and also which colours are most likely to make your eye colour stand out most, and how to apply the brow shape that's very fashionable at the moment, and that you will see on all of the kind of cover girls and things currently, that they've got this big kind of strong arched look, and I'm going to show you how to do that using makeup. So that's me for today, and I invite you to come over and visit me on my Facebook page. That's at Forever Young Book on Facebook, and you should be able to find me via Marina if you've not managed to find me yet. That's a good way to find me if you can't just locate me by typing it into the toolbar. And would love to hear from you, so come over, say hello, and I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. Come and see me next week when I'm talking about the eye makeup, and in the meantime, because it's the festive season, why not book in for a facial and get your skin ready for the season. Maybe have some nice exfoliation treatment done to get the skin in really good condition, and see you at some parties. So from me, it's good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This has been your Forever Young host at Radio Works. Have a lovely day, or evening, or night. Speak to you soon. Bye bye.